This is the income stream to help you achieve your dream, all while we keep it clean. This is the income stream. It's the kind of show where you can come and go, but then you leave inspired with no fee required. The income stream with Pat Flynn.
Woo! Good morning, y'all. Welcome in. Thank you so much for being here today. A little bit of exercise in early. I hope you all enjoyed that. That's the new theme song, courtesy of Music Radio Creative. Isabella and Mike over there do an amazing job creating some amazing stuff for us podcasters, people who do broadcasts and things like that. So hope you enjoyed that. We'll play it again later, but just want to thank you all so much for being here today. We got a good lineup today, and that means you, because ideally, we're just going to answer questions and help you out during this crazy time. So this is day 25 of the live stream, which is pretty insane. I started this 25 days ago just as a way to almost have a place to vent, a way to still continue to serve you during this crazy time, and it's become something a lot more serious. I've upgraded the visuals a little bit. Thank you for the inspiration for that. I've increased the quality of the show by adding a lot more tools and things that can help you out. And then finally, we're adding some logos and songs, and I'm not stopping anytime soon, y'all. So I hope to see you here as often as possible, because it's just something regular that we can look forward to, something entertaining, perhaps even a little bit cringy at times. But hey, we need to distract ourselves from a lot of the stuff that's happening in the world out there, right? Right. Good. Okay. So today, let's answer some questions. Tomorrow, we're going to do some website reviews. It's the weekend. We go pretty deep into website reviews. We go a little bit longer over the weekends, and we have some fun stuff to help prepare for that. So look out for those website reviews. Again, we'll do those tomorrow. Today, we're going to do more Q&A. So yes, new theme song. Just played it. Karma's been here 25 times. Loved your video about Ecamm says gift biz unwrapped. Thank you for that. Using it in the group for the first time after this. Well, good luck to you. I think that this is a perfect time to step up and go live and show up to your audience and try new things. This is really what this whole setup is all about. And when I say this, it's kind of crazy because we're doing some special views. Like here's a side view. If I'm just going to chat with you like this, we're gonna go this route. Hopefully you can still hear me. I've never done this angle before. But this will be sort of a more relaxed way. It gives you a little bit more sense of the behind the scenes and whatnot. And we can always just come back to camera one, camera two, camera one, camera two, computer. So speaking of computer, if you haven't yet gone to this webpage here, smartpassiveincome.com/toolkit, this will give you a really great resource that you can use right now to scale the business that you have, even in times like this, and do it in a graceful way. It allows you also to see how you might be able to start something new during this time as well. So you'll see some emergency podcast episodes that my team and I put together for you, especially like number 2 here, when you get laid off, in case you know somebody. I've gone through that myself in 2008, which is why I feel very compelled to step forward and help during this time. Stay-at-home tips and how to get efficient when working from home. Smart from Scratch, which is a course we've given away over $1.2 million worth of that course so far. Build Your Own Brand, which helps you start a website. 0 to 100 email challenge. These are all free. That helps you build an email list. My books, Let Go and Will It Fly, are free too. And also, big thank you to TJ, donating $5 for the super chat. You can see it right there. Thank you, TJ. All the income coming into this show specifically goes to the San Diego Food Bank at the end of the month. We've already surpassed the amount of meals this month, and it's only April 10th. We're only a third away through the month, and we've already donated more meals than we did last month, and that is over 1,000 meals already, which is pretty incredible. So, TJ, thank you so much. I appreciate you, my friend. But let's get into some questions. So I'm going to scroll up and down here and see what we could do to help you out. So, TJ, one more time. Positive Pat plus my favorite coffee. Great Friday. Here to that. Moster Coffee. Hashtag not an ad. Hashtag my favorite coffee in the world. Except for Australian coffee. All right, here we go. Elton says, how to do better collaboration online. Any easiest way to find community? Well, guess what, Elton? You're in a community right now, and you're doing step one, which is just putting yourself out there and getting into a group of people and joining the conversation. This is what I like to say about social media and these groups, right? They're almost like parties in the sense that you go into a party and you're going to find that not everybody's standing equally distant from each other, right? at least 6 feet if it was in person right now, but just go with me with this example. You walk into a high school gym, right? There's a party going on, and what do you see? You see clusters of people all around, right? So traditionally, think about this. If you were to try and sell something eventually, right? You have a business, you have an agenda, right? You want to make connections and collaborate so you can grow your business and you can make some money and make some income, right? So the wrong way to go about it would be to go into this party and you're walking around, you find a group of people and you go, hey, my name is Elton. Would you guys like to buy this Tupperware? It's like somehow you've brought this Tupperware. It's like in a one of those jackets, and you're just gonna get the cold shoulder, right? People are gonna go, who are you? Like, why are you here? And this is very much what we think we should do in an online sense. But the truth is, even in online spaces like Facebook groups and even groups like this, you're gonna find groups of people who are more communicative with each other. And if you're brand new here, the purpose is to not go, hey, would you like to buy my thing? The purpose is for you to go in and join the conversation and add value to that conversation, or even just be there to listen or hear somebody out and then just contribute and acknowledge. That is your first step, because that's how you then get accepted into the group. Congrats, Sophia, by the way, who is going to be starting her course very soon, which is awesome. So the way that we should do it is to go in and join these conversations and have people become interested in what you have to offer by first you becoming interested in them, right? We have to stop trying to be so interesting and start trying to get interested. Do you see the difference there? That's a good one, right? We need to stop trying to be so interesting and start getting interested. And then people will come to you and go, hey, Elton, what do you have going on? What are you interested in? And you're already doing the first steps here. You're being a part of this group. You're adding value by asking questions that are relevant to everybody else that's here. And I think that's a really smart thing to do. This reminds me of Tim Ferriss from the 4-Hour Workweek. Any Tim Ferriss fans in the house? He was very, very impactful in my life early on through his book. It was right around the time I got laid off that I read that, and it inspired me. It was one of many factors in my success for sure. But I eventually found out the story about how he was able to get on the map with that book. He came out of nowhere and wrote this book, The 4-Hour Workweek, and every blogger in the world essentially was like writing about this book. How did he do that? Well, he would actually go to events or get involved in groups, and he would become so interested in these other parties that they eventually turned around and said, hey, well, Tim, what do you do? Tell me a little bit about what you got going on. You've been so friendly. You've been a great listener. Like, how can I help you? Boom. Now he's like, oh, well, I just happen to be writing this book called The 4-Hour Workweek. Here's when it's going to come out. 4-Hour Workweek. Like, tell me about that. I would love a 4-Hour Workweek. Okay, let's talk. And then he got interviewed and he got New York Times bestseller. And that's kind of how it went down. So that's how Tim Ferriss succeeded, and that's how you can succeed too. Now, it's going to take some time. But again, you can't just go into a group and expect collaborations and people to want to work with you if you go in with an agenda to just help yourself first. You got to go in and want to serve others, which is why several people here who are in this group right now are just amazing, because many of you are coming in from Xenia and Vlada to just Samson to Karma to Rob to, I can't even name everybody here. Ellen, Grandma Goody, and I'm not even looking at the screen right now. I remember these names because these people are showing up and they're contributing, they're adding value. Grandma Goody, by the way, on the replays, when this thing is done processing, she comes in later and adds in a little bit of a sort of a summary in the comment section about the things we talked about today. How amazing is that? She doesn't have to do that. But now I remember her, and now I think you should all subscribe. And if you have kids and you believe in the higher being, she would be a great person to follow and introduce to your kids. Anyway, boom. That's that. Thank you so much. Skipped a whole bunch of questions by going into that it wasn't a rant, but Elton, thank you so much for that question. That was great. Alternative to CD Baby Player alternative is now gone. I'm not exactly sure. Maybe this is something that the rest of the group can answer, but Dawn's asking, alternative to CD Baby Player, that's gone. I don't even honestly know what exactly that means, so I apologize. I know CD Baby Player. I don't know exactly what a replacement would be for that. I'm not exactly sure what that does, so I apologize. Talking Llama Media, first time I'm able to make it live. I'm watching your replays every morning. Thank you so much. You get an awesome because you're here. Speaking of Grandma Goody, your video on webcam flubs and 16 tips to look good in virtual meetings is excellent. That's the name again. So Webcam Willie, anybody see the Webcam Willie video? If you haven't seen that yet, check it out. It's getting a really great response. A lot of people are noticing how much hard work was put into it. And that is a video about the 16 things you should stop doing if you are live and on a webcam or doing virtual conferencing or virtual, meetings and stuff. Webcam Willie, man, that guy's crazy, but he's learning, and hopefully we could all help him out. And you might find your own version of Webcam Willie that you can introduce that video to sometime in the future. Corey in the house. Corey is another regular here too. Corey, morning coffee. Philly, I think too much coffee might be bad. No, there's no such thing as too much coffee. Well, I guess there is. We don't want that to happen. Joanna says, I just started reading Let Go this morning. Thanks, Pat. You're welcome. If you go to, again, this website here, which is smartpassiveincome.com/toolkit, you can actually get my book, Let Go, for free. You can download it via PDF, and it's a story about how I got laid off and how I had to, number one, I was let go. But secondly, I had to let go of who I thought I was supposed to be, what I was going to school for, and all the things that were in my past. I had to let go of that in order to grow and and climb this new ladder that was right in front of me. And there's a ladder right in front of you right now, a brand new opportunity with the time that we do have. There are opportunities in this, not opportunities to take advantage of the situation and other people and the fear, but there are opportunities to take advantage of the time and the things that this does make possible for you. Reham from Egypt, welcome in. Thank you so much for being here today. Hey, we got a super chat from Hey Archer. I missed that earlier, but thank you so much for that. Here's to another meal. That's for the San Diego Food Bank. Hey Archer is another person who comes in every single day as well. And Martin, here's a thought, Pat. You have given away $1.2 million worth of goods. Do you ever wonder how much revenue that is generated in what we now make from your advice? Got to be millions. Well, I've been doing this for 12 years, Martin, and I've been giving away probably billions of dollars worth of advice ever since day one. And I can't calculate. There'd be no way that I could calculate that. And honestly, to me, that's not what's important. What's important is that I'm creating success stories, that I can just be the guide. I can be the Yoda, and you are the Luke Skywalker. And Luke Skywalker was not a perfect person. Just realize you don't have to be perfect to make this work. You just have to keep going, get the right guidance, and take action. And then that proton cannon's going to go in the right spot, and eventually it'll work out. But you have to persist. You have to keep going. Hashtag Star Wars for the win. Talking Llama Media says, how many cups of coffee do you drink in a day? Has your caffeine intake increased during these quarantine days? No, they've remained the same. I've had a very regular coffee schedule. I have a coffee curfew, by the way. This is thanks to Sleep Smarter, which is a book by a good friend of mine and fellow mastermind member, Sean Stevenson. Any Sean Stevenson fans in the house? I'm a huge fan of Sean Stevenson. He also recently came out with a really great podcast episode. His podcast, it's called The Model Health Show. And he came out with probably the most brilliant episode about this pandemic and everything that's happening right now and the science behind it. And it really puts into perspective what's going on in a very graceful way that makes us feel good about what not feel good about what's happening, but feel better at least about what's happening. Anyway, Sean has a book called Sleep Smarter, and I'm very much in the camp of, wanting to optimize sleep. And that has a lot of tips for optimizing sleep. One of them is to have a coffee curfew, because the half-life of a coffee cup, 8 ounces of coffee, is 8 hours. So my coffee curfew is actually 2 p.m. So I do a coffee in the morning. Got that here ready for you. Hashtag AeroPress for the win. And then I have a second cup of coffee right after lunch. And that keeps me plowing through the afternoon. And then by the time it's bedtime, I'm good to go. If I ever have coffee after like 3 or 4 p.m., I'm pretty much wired until 2 a.m. And I don't want that, because now that I'm getting older, I am noticing that when I get less sleep, I am more lethargic, more tired, more just less creative. And that's not good too. I think it's really important to understand, well, what works for you and your body and what will give you the most energy. I think that's really key. All right, let's get some more questions here. Sophia says, thanks for all you do, Pat. I'm a PUP student officially launching Tuesday. Congratulations to you. Keep up the great work. That's for you and your brand new podcast. If I had time to review the website, well, I might, Rafal, thank you so much for the super chat. That means the world. I might be able to review the website this weekend, so come back in tomorrow. I'll see and try to remember, and we'll do a website review for you. By the way, website reviews, we're getting a little crazy with them now. This is how they're going to start when we do it tomorrow, just so you all know. This is how it's going to go. Breaking it down to build it back up. Okay, sorry, having a little too much fun. I was gonna debut that tomorrow, but you mentioned website reviews, and just trying to break this up, just trying to have some fun, and that's the point of those website reviews, is to break it down. I get pretty brutally honest in a polite way, and then I build it back up for you. So that's what we're gonna do. Super cool. Okay, let's keep going here. The liaison. That's a word that I could never say. Liaison? Never mind. I have 3 Google Pixel phones to start off with, still working and buying a camera. Can I utilize these to film interviews, podcast videos? What do you recommend? Well, I would recommend that number one, just get started with what you have. So if you have a Pixel 3, did you mean Pixel 3 or 3 pixels? Probably a Pixel 3, but either way, it's still a great camera with a fantastic view and a fantastic quality that you could use to film and do whatever it is you need to do. Podcasting is mostly audio, so just make sure that you have some good audio to go along with it, and you can conduct these audio interviews online too right now versus in person. However, you can film it and you can go down that route too. So yeah, I would just, again, start with what you have access to. Kingdom Culture, welcome in. What is the vision for your business and life in general? So I don't know if you've ever read the Benjamin Franklin biography. It was written by Walter Isaacson. I have a Leonardo da Vinci version of a Walter Isaacson biography here, just the king of biographies, right? He wrote a great biography about Steve Jobs as well. But the Ben Franklin one is the one that I want to talk about because it's inspiring to me. It's inspiring because although the book is like this thick, it's like 700 pages, right? By the time you get to page 60 or 70, just 10% in the book, he's already 40 years old. All the things that we know Benjamin Franklin for are in the thickest part of that book. So, number one, we always have more time to add value, to contribute, to create something that leaves a legacy. And the sooner you get started, the better, obviously. But there's always time. You can keep going. And I'm just 37. I haven't even hit 40 yet. I still have the rest of my biography to write right now, or to have be written. And so where I want to take this is I want to become somebody who's known for helping to educate people in the world of entrepreneurship, which I have been doing and I'm doing right now, obviously. But I want to take that to the next step. In a couple years, we're going to be starting some foundations to help kids learn entrepreneurship, because these are skills that are so important to just life in general. And so that's what I want to become known for. I want to become known for being an agent of change in the world of entrepreneurship for kids. I looked into already for the last couple of years, how might we begin to add entrepreneurship into curriculum within schools? How might we make it on the same level as reading, science, math, entrepreneurship? Because those skills, whether you become an entrepreneur or not, will teach you everything that you need to know for life, truly. How to deal with making mistakes, how to deal with failures, how to learn from failures, how to collaborate and work with people in groups, how to present your ideas in a way that will best highlight what it is that you're trying to create. So many things, right? So my wife, April, and I, actually, this is April's idea. She and I had an idea to eventually create a summer school for kids. A lot of parents are shipping off their kids to summer schools and camps, right, for a lot of money. Why not instead teach them entrepreneurship during that time, and not just be a place to put kids in so that you could still work over the summer and it's almost like daycare on steroids? Why not maybe teach them the skills of entrepreneurship during that time? So we're thinking of creating an entrepreneurial summer school to at least start the momentum, and then we'll see where that takes us. Anyway, that's what I want to do. That's what I want to become known for. Thank you so much for that. Grant says, how do you find the gumption to do things so consistently? I think this is the first time in my life I've said gumption. I feel like it's so hard for me to be consistent with making content. This is a fantastic question, Grant. How do we remain excited about showing up again and again and again? So there's a couple things that I stack in my favor so that I can continue to show up for you in all different kinds of ways, right? I feel like that I've been pretty consistent amongst many different places, and it's not something I was born with, that's for sure. It's not something that I even just understood right away, but it's something that I definitely have leaned into, is that consistency, because that is definitely really important, especially when you're trying to build a tribe and a community, and that's the future of business, is building those groups and those communities, hence tools like Mighty Network and Circle.so. Number one, always remembering why I do this. That's been the number one thing, because when we get started with an idea, we have these amazing just feelings and emotions about what it is that we're getting into, right? What if this works? What if this is incredible? And I think we forget or lose that momentum because we're so deep into the details and we're grinding away. We almost forget those feelings that we once had early on. This is just, every business goes through this. It's called the dip. It's where things start to get hard. You might not know all the answers now. That excitement gets replaced with worry and anxiety, and we begin to either just walk away from it because we want to go back to something comfortable, or if you want to succeed, you plow through and you figure out the answers and you try to make it work. Number 2, I try to make a game out of the things that I do. I'm trying to go, so I didn't tell you this, but I at least want to do like a 100-day live stream streak here. Now, I know that if I can, like, first of all, it wasn't 100 days at the start. To start, it was just like, let me go live straight every single day for a week, and we'll see if we can do that. So let's make these bigger goals a little bit more micro and achievable. That's the other thing about remaining consistent. Don't think about doing this a year from now. Just try to do it in the short term, because when you do it for the short term, you start to build those muscles. You start to build those gears and learn the systems. And when you gamify that and say, okay, it's like my friend Joel Runyon, who runs a brand called Impossible, and it's health and fitness based. He does a lot of these ultra marathons. I remember one day I asked him about, like, well, how do you eat so many greens every single day? Because that's obviously very important. And he was like, yeah, I make a game out of it. I just try it. Like when I go to the grocery store, I just buy as much broccoli as I can possibly imagine eating, and I just try to plow through it. Like I make a game out of eating more broccoli every single day. And I was like, see, that's a cool little mini game that you could play in the much bigger game of life, right? So this week-long streak got my wheels going, and then I went, okay, let's go for 2. Let's go for a month now. And we're about a month in at this point. We're 25 days in, and that's the streak I'm trying to get. And no, you don't have to go daily with whatever it is you're trying to do in terms of remaining consistent with anything, especially business related. It can be tough to do something daily. Obviously, we have time to do this now. There's only one other person who I know who's been very successful at doing something daily, and that was John Lee Dumas from Entrepreneurs on Fire. Big shout out to JLD. But you can be consistent in coming out with a podcast every other week. So that's number 1, was remembering why you do this. Number 2, creating a little game out of it, gamifying it, shrinking it into baby steps that you can achieve. And number 3, just remembering that there are human beings on the other end who need me to show up, who need me to be consistent. And so I always have, whenever I get a thank you note in my email, I put that into a folder and then I collect those. That's my gauge for how well things are going. I also collect, I don't know if you could see over here, not there, right here, are thank you notes. These are thank you notes from my audience who, by the way, 99% of them mention the podcast. So that just speaks so highly to the connection you can make with somebody on a podcast. But these are notes that are handwritten and sent over. This is displayed in my office, not because I'm showing it off to anybody, although I'm showing it off to you right now. That's not what it's about, though. I'm the only one who usually works in this office. If I wanted to show it off, I would have it pasted in the hallway or just on the wall at WeWork so everybody who walks by goes, wow, this guy is incredible. No, this is for me. So that when I get discouraged and I don't want to work anymore, or I don't want to remain consistent, I can keep consistent because it's not about me. It's about somebody else. And I imagine if I don't show up, for example, somebody's not going to benefit as a result of that. And that keeps me going, right? That keeps me going. So hopefully that helps. Wonderful question, Grant. Thank you so much. Oh, wait. All right. Aberrate question, would like to interview digital marketer across the globe. What is your advice? Will you be part of it if requested? Potentially. Right now, we are getting so many requests because of my story in 2008, getting laid off. A lot of people right now, millions of people getting laid off and furloughed as well, filing for unemployment. 10% of Americans, 1 out of every 10 people do not have a job who once had a job. That is crazy. So anyway, I am getting asked a lot to show up and be on interviews. And so you can ask, you can send me an email, pat@patflynn.com. I can't guarantee it, but we'll see if we can make it work. But I just wanted to say thank you for even asking. You can interview people online. You can interview people even over the phone. You can capture that. You can put it into a podcast. Thank you, Francis, for that. I also have a few thank yous to offer to people too. Let's scroll down and let me just find those for you really quick, because I don't want to let any of these super chats go by without me thanking you. Martin, thank you so much. I pointed to nothing, but hey, have another meal. You've given me so much. Hey, I'm here for you. Thank you, my friend. Appreciate you. Grandma Goody says, in Webcam Willie video, Patrick looks eerily like Cat Stevens on the cover of his Moonshadow album, 200 plus, wear their wig. I don't know who that is, but somebody made a comment yesterday on the video that was like, hey, Patrick looks very mellow. Like, I want to hang out with them. And I'm like, yeah, that's kind of funny. So I used a old Captain Hook sort of pirate curly long hair wig in that video, and April tied it in the back, so it just kind of looked like more like a Jerry curl situation going on. All right, Danielle says, I want to add some square and vertical video memes to my portfolio, my WordPress site. I'm concerned that uploading them directly will slow down my site. Suggestions. I can't speak to whether or not they're going to slow down your site, but I think that because it's an image and typically the size of those images is not very much, it just repeats. It's not a video, it's an animated GIF, right? So it's not going to be quite as heavy as you might think. And I would just recommend, Danielle, trying it out, seeing if it works or not, seeing if it slows it down. All right, so here are the couple super chats that came in all kind of in a row. Malini, thank you for all you do. Appreciate your hard work. You are an inspiration. Do you have a TED Talk yet? No, I don't have a TED Talk. I've been asked to do a TEDx talk, but I want to reserve, if I could reserve. I don't even I don't know if it's big-headed of me to think that I'm already going to be able to be on the TED stage. I don't want to assume that, but if I ever were to be able to have a chance to be on a TED Talk stage, not a TEDx, but a TED Talk stage, I would love for it to be about entrepreneurship and kids, not about my business or me. So that's ultimately where I want to get to, and it's going to take some time to get there as well. Sophia with the super chat, $9.99. Thank you so much for that. I appreciate you. All this gets donated to people who are in need right now here in San Diego, the San Diego Food Bank. So thank you so much for that. Lisa says, I have an iced tea curfew as well. And I noticed that I haven't even taken a sip of coffee yet because I worry. The other day, I took a sip of coffee and it was hot. I almost spewed coffee out at you and all the electronic devices here, but I definitely don't want to do that. So hold on a minute while we do this. In the meantime, while I sip this coffee, enjoy this instrumental of the Income Stream song. Camel, thank you so much for the super chat. I appreciate you. I asked Mike and Isabella from musicradiocreative.com who helped me create that song. I wrote the lyrics. I actually wrote it while playing the piano. I was just like, this is a fun tune. I think it could get stuck in anybody's head. And I wrote that, and I asked for the instrumental too for moments like that. So I'm glad it's working out. Cool. Let's keep going here. See, it's in my head. Doug says, one good thing about this lockdown is it's more quality time for family and friends. I 100,000% agree with you. Time to think and ponder, relax, help others. Some of us workaholics forget that life should be enjoyed. Yeah, this is a great thought, Doug. You know, I heard an interview on the Joe Rogan podcast, and they were talking about this thing exactly. Looking for bright sides of things, right? And yes, it is more time with family for sure. It's more time to hunker down and get into those projects that you potentially didn't have time for. For many, it's a big eye-opening experience for both those who are getting furloughed and laid off right now. Like, wow, it wasn't as secure as I thought it was. What can I do now instead? And they're probably going to be some amazing success stories and new businesses coming out of this situation too. But just kind of overall, right? Like the world was spinning so fast. There were so many things going on. It was hustle, bustle, go, go, go. This has almost been a much needed slowdown. Now, obviously, there's been a lot of not so great things that have happened, and I wish those things didn't happen. However, there has been some nice slowdown for people to go, oh, well, let me wake up from that crazy sort of momentum that we had and just slow down and appreciate the things that we have and that we do have access to, that we can be grateful for. Practicing gratitude is really key. I would ask you, what's one thing that you're grateful for right now? And type it in the chat. I'd love to know a little bit more about you in that way. But yeah, I think I agree with you, Doug. It's been a really interesting slow down and look around, sort of like breathe, take a breath moment, and just consider what's important to you. And I agree with you. That's really interesting. How might the new normal be? That's going to be the question that we're all wondering, right? Warriors Roundtable, recommendations on a lowish cost resource to develop a website. Only about 108 subs. That's actually really good to start with, because now you have 108 people who can be there when you launch your website, who can provide some comments, who can offer some advice, some direction for you. Clearly, I need to get one up on the interwebs. I'm not thinking fourth dimensionally. So websites don't cost very much. In fact, you can do it for free. Now, I have a free course. By the way, Sammy, thank you for the $4.99. I appreciate you, my friend. And I also saw one come in from Junaid, who I think got hijacked by Sammy's here because you guys are back to back. But let me go into that really quick because, wow, Junaid, I'm going to put you down here as a thank you. $50. Thanks for all you do, my friend. Oh, there you are. Thank you for all that you do and to share your story and teach us. Thank you so much. That's going to help so many people in need right now. And again, this is not a fundraiser. This is not required. Remember the song, no fee required. You're here to get inspired. The income stream with Pat Flynn. Anyway, just wanted to say thank you all so much for that support. Not required. You being here is enough support. However, should you want to contribute, I'm going to happily accept it, pass it over to those in need. So thank you so much for that. That is amazing. Both of you. Incredible. Incredible. Trying to go back to where I was. I apologize. Let's see. Sue says, it's the deeper why that pulls me through when this gets rough, not what my clients receive from my products or services, but my personal why. I love that. Thank you so much. I think that was around the conversation about, well, what keeps you going? Why do we do what we do? Chris says, I hate being on my phone right now. I haven't given ConvertKit a proper look yet. smartpassiveincome.com/ConvertKit, hashtag affiliate link, hashtag I'm an advisor for the company, hashtag they're awesome. Definitely check out ConvertKit if you're building your email list. All right. Can change into rap and blues. Super chats, elbow cough. All right, I'm just looking up for questions. I'm loving that you guys are chatting with each other. That's fantastic. Thank you for that. Isaiah in the house. By the way, kudos to you, Isaiah, for stepping up, being a part of the group. You're 15 years old. That's incredible. And I just want to commend you and just push you to keep going because that's awesome. I wish I was doing what you were doing when 15. When I was 15, I was playing Quake 2. And I was a part of a group of online players and learning how to use the railgun to win tournaments. And although that was fun, I wish I was also savvy enough to think about my future and start a business too. That being said, there's a lot of people who have businesses and are making a living playing video games now. So if only Twitch was around back then, right? But anyway, you have huge opportunities. I'm thinking about making a video about how you helped me be more better. How should I speak about the positive things you did to help me? Honestly, the truth, just speak from the heart. I don't even know exactly how I helped you. You can even write a script or an outline or what it is that you want to do with this video to help inspire others. Just write those bullet points out and just speak from the heart. Honestly, don't spend too much time thinking about the right way to do it. Just do it and get it out there because Isaiah, the most important thing that you can do now with 15 years old under you is realize that you have especially time on your side. You have the opportunity to start now. You have the opportunity to mess up and not have so many things on the line. You have the opportunity to figure out what works for you and what your superpowers are. This is your moment to get through all the mess and mess ups and mistakes, and this is your time to do that. And you're gonna make mistakes. That's the other thing. I don't know what kind of household you grew up in, where whether or not you were sort of meant to be or thought that everything had to be perfect. But that's the kind of household I grew up in, and that was a big crutch for me. I thought everything had to be perfect. Everybody, I would come home with a 97% on my math test, and my dad would go, "Well, what happened to the other 3%? What happened to the other 3%?" And we'd spend hours focusing on those little few things that I got wrong. Now, I appreciate being pushed to do that because it made me a much smarter person. It made me understand those things that I made mistakes on. But when you're older and when you're building a business, you can't focus so much on the mistakes and the things that went wrong anymore. You have to focus on, well, what it is that is working for you. What are your superpowers? The 97%, like, let's focus on those things and let's scale and exponentially grow those things. So just perfection, there's no room for that in entrepreneurship. You cannot be an entrepreneur and be perfect. It's just, that's an oxymoron, right? Because being an entrepreneur is making mistakes, experimenting in a way, almost like science, where you can go, okay, well, that didn't work. Let's try something new. What can we learn from this? Now, how can we go in a different direction? All those kinds of things. Camel with a second super chat. Thank you so much for that. I appreciate you, my friend. Corey, what are your thoughts on using just a few thumbnails in my case and just changing the text? Or is it better to have totally new thumbnail for each video? I mean, ideally it's better, but if that's what you want to do, that's what you want to do. And in fact, I know a lot of people who have built very successful YouTube channels rotating their thumbnails, and that makes sense because it's less money to spend on stock images or a designer, and just having a few of them will be brandable, so people will recognize you and recognize the thumbnails. And typically, if you have, maybe 5 to 10 and rotate them, then it should work out okay. Over time, you could change them, but where it can start to not look great is if you see the entire library of videos and they all look the same, even if the words are changed. Well, that's going to be a little bit different. So try to mix them up a little bit, Corey, but yeah, you can totally rotate them. That's no problem whatsoever. Startup Flame, great job, and hit 25 days. Yes, we are 25 days into this, which is pretty incredible. It's like, oh, let me do that one more time. Bruh. We haven't had a bra yet today. Kimena says, my dad did the same. I never understood that I was good at anything, just that I had weaknesses that needed work. Glad you won't be doing that with your kids. Yeah, no, we focus on what they, whatever it is that they're excited about, we just lean into it. Whatever it is they're doing good, we focus on that. And we actually still want them to learn their mistakes, right? We want them to grow and get better. So how do we do that? We ask them questions and we try to coach them through it. We don't tell them what to do. We don't be the advice monster. We don't want to be the advice monster. This was written about in a book called The Coaching Habit. And the idea of being a great coach is asking questions such that the person you're coaching, your kids, your clients, whoever, they come up with the answer based on the questions that you ask. You might know what the right answer is or what you want them to do or how to encourage them. But if you can, almost like Inception, say and ask the right questions such that they come up with the answers themselves. It's almost like getting your kids to cook their own food and you put broccoli in there and they're making it. They're going to eat it because they made it themselves, right? When they come up with the idea, they're more likely to do it because it's almost like they came up with it. They're going to own it more. So that's the kind of thought that we have with our kids. That's the kind of thought I have with many of you in a coaching situation. And that's how I work with my clients, all those kinds of things. Samson. Bruh. All right. Anyone else know why super chats aren't going through? I press buy and send and it just drops without processing. I don't know. It might be a browser issue, but you don't, again, have to do that. But I would happily accept, and thank you so much for the support, everybody. Chris says, Pat, can you please talk a little bit about how you manage different affiliate payouts, taxes, and so on? So number one, my CPA is like my best friend. Not actually my best friend. I don't know him like that. We don't go out for dinners and stuff, but you want to treat them like such because they just, especially in the realm of online business where there's a lot of things going on, a lot of income streams, the income stream, it can get very complicated, right? And if you try to do it yourself, you're not going to have any time to run your business, to be honest. So in terms of affiliate payouts, like everything comes into one single checking account or PayPal account. Everything gets dumped in there. Everything's tracked, obviously. And we have a paper trail of everything, or at least an electronic paper trail. And my CPA is the one who typically will see everything. Everything gets booked and categorized at the end of every month. And then we could just go from there. So really the CPA is the secret sauce there. Taxes, yeah, I mean, it's so, I mean, man, there's so many things, right? And I'm not a CPA, I'm not an attorney. I can't tell you exactly what to do, but definitely hiring somebody who can help, especially with a lot of things going on right now. It's I don't even know how they do what they do. They are worth their weight in gold for sure. Worth their price in gold. My CPA is not heavy. Anyway, I appreciate what they do so much. It was early on in my business career that I realized that I just did not want to wear that hat. That was not going to work out for me. So I definitely appreciated the work that they do. So I would recommend definitely finding somebody like that too. Andre, what's up, Andre? Welcome. Thank you so much for being here today. I never watched your YouTube before. I saw your live session pop up in the suggestions section. I can say you're inspiring and the way you explain things are so clear. Greetings from Malaysia. Malaysia in the house. Welcome in. Thank you so much, Andre. Thanks for spending time. I hope you come back tomorrow. Same time every day, 8 a.m. Pacific, 11 a.m. Eastern. Why am I doing this? Because we need to have something regular that we could look forward to. Number 2, it keeps me accountable to waking up in the morning. Number 3, I'm here to help you. Number 4, hey, all these late night show hosts that are coming in and like doing their shows from home, like this is a much better setup than what they have. Like I'm just gonna know and say that straight up. They don't have access to a Rodecaster Pro. They don't have access to Canon EOS R connected to a Blackmagic camera web presenter that connects to the computer and is streaming on Ecamm Live. They're on their phones. They're not doing a great job. They're doing the best, and I get it. But this is I was talking about this with somebody yesterday, Kevin from the Lightbulb Moment. We were having a chat about this. He and I were like, dude, the playing field is level now, right? They don't have access to these studios anymore. There's no live audience anymore. It's just funny because like, you know, Jimmy Kimmel and a number of others are just, it's a little awkward now because they're not in their normal environment. Well, now's the time for us to step up because guess what? The playing field is level now. So this is why I'm so gung-ho on this right now, and I'm excited about pushing forward and through even stronger now. So we got the theme song created. We're getting a logo created right now. I'm going to be taking this and putting it into a podcast feed eventually, hopefully, and just trying to get more word out there. I would love to one day see over 1,000 people here watching live every day. How incredible would that be? You could all help me get there, and you are helping me get there. And if you wanted to share this with somebody who you know would benefit from it and think it would help distract them from a lot of the craziness out there and potentially help guide them in their new direction, I'd so much appreciate that too. So yeah, here we are. Here we are. Thank you, Andre. Subscribed. Yes, that's what I'm talking about right there. All right, question from the liaison. Is there a specific type of attorney we contact for podcasting? Can you expound on what is important to look for and avoid? Attorney and podcasting, yeah, I haven't really thought about those things together. I mean, I have an attorney as well. I mean, the most important thing with podcasting is just to realize that you have to make sure that you are following the rules that are just more common sense. You don't want to pick somebody's song on the radio and play it on your podcast because that's not royalty free. You can't use that. You can either make up your own song.
This is the income stream to help you.
Or you could find some royalty-free music on places like audiojungle.net or other places. Music Radio Creative, by the way, is who made that song, and they can make songs for you too. So that's number one. Number two, you don't necessarily even have to trademark. Again, I'm not an attorney. I'm not like that kind of person. This is just my opinion. But most people do not trademark their podcast name. If it's a brand that's trademarked and it's a podcast, well, then it is a trademark. But most people who start a podcast, it's just the name of a show, and you just get it out there and you keep going. So there may be a lot less involved than you might think to get a podcast up and running. I think you can get it done sooner than later. Reham says, I need to do an awesome podcast about apparel and fashion etiquette and gain income from it. Is it easy to get followers in a short time? It's possible. I'm not going to say it's easy because nothing it comes easy, but it is possible. And it's simple too. That's the thing. There's a difference between simple and easy. Easy means, well, I can just set it up and I'm going to make money right away. No. Simple means I can set it up, I can build an audience, I can add value, and then I can make money. That is not easy to do, but that's simple. Let's simplify the process. So yes, it can happen. It's possible. What I would make sure is to consider, okay, who is it that your target audience is? Where do they exist now? How can you get in front of that audience sooner than later? And how might you then be able to add some value into their life in exchange for money coming back your way? It might be, I don't know, anything from an online course, coaching, consulting, products, online products, offline products, events, online, offline, not offline events right now. But you see where I'm getting at? Let's simplify the process. It's not easy, but it can happen for sure. Heather says, grateful for so many things. Lucky to have my husband as quarantine buddy to hug and talk to. Amen to that. Good setup, work from home. Tabletop simulator allows us to play online board games with friends. That sounds epic. I love that. Karma in the house. Happy birthday to you recently, by the way. How important is a YouTube channel header image? What do you like to see on the channel header image? I'm changing mine, but I think it's horrible, honestly. It definitely is really important. It's the first impression people get when they come to your page. And then, again, we're speaking about the YouTube header, the sort of bar at the top. I've redesigned mine many times, and it's just great that you've already started a channel despite not having the best one yet. You can work your way toward that, and I think that's really smart. So what do I like to see on it? I like to see branding. I like to see simple things that will help me understand what this is about. And if you can put a schedule on there, that helps people realize sort of what they're going to get. So you'll see on mine, for example, here on patflynn.com. Actually, we can even go to the website right now and just check that out. So let's go to youtube.com. Thank you, Samson. Bruh. So here is mine. If I go to my channel. So as you can see, Pat Flynn up top, make more money, save more time, help more people. And this is my tagline, hashtag Team Flynn, that's you. A little bit of a logo there related to my website, and then hit subscribe. You get 2 videos per week. And that's essentially it. Just it pops, it shows me because I want people to get to know me. I show up in every video, so that relates. And yeah, I don't know why it's showing both this and this. That's interesting while watching live. Anyway. Yeah, thank you so much. Camel, another super chat. You're crazy. I don't know what the deal is with the super chats today. Yeah, just keep trying. Keep making it look good. Keep iterating is what I was going to say. All right, one sec. Just expanding this a little bit. All right, let's keep going. Question from Fakupala. Says, question, do you think it's better to provide different kinds of services to reach more clients or focus in on one first as an IT freelancer? So here's what I would recommend. One client, one result. When you're just starting out, focus on one first. When you do that, it just makes all the process so much easier. It helps you just understand, okay, I need to find one group of people and find one person to help. It refines your process. It helps you realize that whether or not you want to do this or not. It helps you get a testimonial and a case study that you can use when you go and reach out and branch out. You might do the one thing and go, wow, I don't like that. And thankfully, you've only done it with one and have one client, because if you find out right away you don't like it, great. Now you can pivot and move on to something else to help in a different way. So I would start with one first. That's always the answer, okay? Promise me, if you're just starting out right now, try to get one person, one result to start. It just makes everything so much easier. Cool. Is this like the new, like, I don't know why you guys love that so much. Tell me why. I hear that like some of you may even want like a t-shirt that says, bro. That's so good. You guys are crazy. Thank you so much. Yes, this is new, Ern, the 2-camera feature. Because it's almost like taking a break, getting a little bit more relaxed. I get to lean over a little bit. You get the behind the scenes. And then once I'm done, boom, serious pat again. Yeah, it's a bit pixelated. It's because this light is not in a great position for this, and it's not as great of a camera either. This is the Logitech Brio, so it's a lighting thing. Did I watch Stranger Things? I will wear a t-shirt for you tomorrow. That's all I'm gonna say. I will wear a t-shirt for you tomorrow, TJ. Hopefully I remember. Any YouTubers you'd love to collaborate with in the future? Oh man, this is a great question. I'd love to collab with Mr. Beast. That would, I think, be fun. Get my kids involved because they are big fans of his. We could do some sort of challenge. I don't know, like a ultimate hide and seek challenge, or extreme first to stop working on their business gets $1 million. No, that's the last one to stop working on their business would get $1 million. Anyway. Mr. Beast would be cool. I got to meet him in person, actually. He's a really, really good guy. Very humble, actually, with all of his success, and just very much a giver. He and I met each other at Vid Summit last year in LA at a conference, and he's just incredible. Mark Rober is a good person I'd love to collaborate with as well. The scientist, the glitter bomb guy, he's really great. He and I also met at the same conference. Vid Summit, by the way, is the name of the conference. Vid Summit. So if we ever get to go to conferences again and you're a YouTuber, you want to make sure you head to Vid Summit. Big shout out to Daryl Eves, who's putting that together. And he just has all the, it's not even about celebrities showing up. It's about people who have things to share about how to succeed on YouTube, big and small, showing up and coming into a place where a community can come together. It's not like VidCon, which is the one where you have like 30,000 screaming kids because their favorite YouTuber is there. That's not what Vid Summit is about. Let's see. Who else would I like to collaborate with? MKBHD. He and I met last year too. There's just so many people. I mean, I'm naming like the biggest of the biggest, right? But I like even smaller YouTubers I wouldn't mind getting in front of. I mean, I think Cody Wayner is a great person. Peter McKinnon, obviously not a smaller one, but Roberto Blake, I'd love to do another collab with. Sean Cannell from Think Media and Video Influencers. Amy Landino. Antonio from Real Men, Real Style would be really fun to do. Yeah, I mean, there's just so many. There's some really amazing people here on YouTube. Jason, great question. Okay, where was that question? Dude, so many hashtag bros. That's so funny. Let's make that the thing, okay? Oh, Jason asked that question. Okay, cool. To travel tourist, when you were able to go to Australia to get together with Primitive Technology Dude and have the kids collab on a video with him, that would be amazing. That's one of my favorite channels. I discovered that randomly on my homepage one day, and I just went deep into his stuff. If you don't know this channel, then you've been living under a rock. Because what this person does, he lives in Australia. He doesn't live in the forest, but he essentially, like, all of his videos, by the way, he's never said a word on any of his videos. And he has like millions of subscribers, never said a word. Make sure you turn on the captions though, because he actually teaches you what he's doing. But he, my gosh, just builds things out of nature and primitive technology. That's what it's about. And he just researches them and builds them, and he shows them everything from, how to build a hut out of mud and brick to how to create this automated water thing that pounds nuts and flour. It's just like, wow, incredible. He's so cool. All right, let's keep going. Do you ever get nervous meeting people like that, or do you feel kind of like part of the club? No, I always feel nervous. Trust me. I remember shaking in my boots when I was meeting MKBHD. Luckily, last year I was in meeting people mode because I'm an introvert. So meeting people, especially those who are like, wow, I do get nervous, but I was like in the middle of getting a presentation ready. I was in like go mode when I met Mr. Beast and Mark Rober. I got introduced by somebody else, so that was helpful too. But just like going up to somebody at random would still like make my armpit stains show up.
Bruh.
But I do get nervous still, and I don't feel like I'm part of the club because I always have so much to learn. I think that when I feel like part of the club, that's a day where maybe things are going to get to my head, and I don't ever want to get there. So yeah, hopefully you can feel that. But yeah, DSLR photo shooter, great. I love that channel too. You've been to most. Can you give or suggest 5 or so events to attend in 2020 or 2021? I haven't been to most. There's so many other ones out there that I don't even know about. So I would recommend for whatever it is that you are interested in, definitely do some research. Try to find people who have gone or who throw these events on. So let's see. Social media marketing world, I love. Craft and Commerce, which is the ConvertKit conference. FinCon, the financial blogger conference, is fantastic. All of those ones feel very like group, family, community oriented. Social Media Examiner is definitely the biggest one, social media marketing world, which happens in San Diego. Traffic and Conversion is one that feels less sort of tight as a group, but definitely a lot of more advanced content at that. That's a more internet marketing conference, if you want to call it that, but still great. Traffic and Conversion, that happens in San Diego too. For the women in the audience, the Business Boutique is a great one. I've spoken to Christy Wright's audience before. It's a Dave Ramsey sort of sister brand, and Christy Wright is an amazing human being, and she puts on the biggest, most insane, incredible group together. It's so well produced, so that's a great one. Business Boutique is the name of that one. Amy Porterfield has events. James Wedmore has events. James Schramko over in Australia has some great events that happen. I mean, there's so many events that happen. I would just consider, okay, well, what are the 1 or 2 that make the most sense for you, and see how you might be able to get there. Hopefully we can all go back to that. Franz asks, what are your tips to build a personal brand? So tips for building a personal brand. Number 1, you got to show up. Number 2, you got to have people realize really quickly what's unique about you and what is it that people come to you for? What makes you stand out amongst everybody else talking about the same sorts of things? Number 3, don't be afraid to be vulnerable. I think showing when you do make mistakes makes you stand out even more. It's almost like, how Japanese, when they make their gardens, they purposefully put some weeds in there because if it was just perfect, it would be not real. And I think that a lot of people who build personal brands show up in a way where it's like, well, that's not real, or they just show the best sides of them. I think you can connect more with humans on the other end being vulnerable. And I think that's sort of number 4 is just remember the human beings on the other end and make a personal connection with them. Use tools like our Instagram direct messages or, Bonjoro, Bonjoro to make these personal connections in these videos, because that's what's going to help you stand out. No, you're not a big giant company, but you can have people feel very special coming from you, a person, taking a little bit of time to make a person feel special, calling them by name, sending them a quick video message. It goes a very long way. And then number 5, make sure that you showcase how you personally have helped other people on your podcast, on your YouTube channel, on your blog. Make them look like the hero. When you make and use your platform to make somebody else look like a hero, you ultimately become the guy that everybody wants to be with. So that's what I would recommend in terms of building a personal brand. All right, let's go a few more questions and then we're going to finish up today. Lavanya says, how do you prep for podcast interviews with guests that you don't know personally? Shout out to you for trying to change kids' curriculum. I would happily send my kids to your camp. Thank you so much, Lavanya. I appreciate that. So let's see. How do I prep for a podcast? Well, I definitely want to know, number one, what is the purpose of having this person on the show? I wouldn't have invited them on the show, or we wouldn't have connected if it didn't matter for something. So what is the thing that I ultimately want the viewer/listener on the other end to get out of this conversation? All things point toward that. How might I ask questions? How can I direct the conversations? What stories could I potentially pull out or ask about to help guide the listener? That's what the podcast is about, the listener. It's not about the guest. It's not about me. It's about the listener. And how might we guide them there? That's number one. Number two, I will do a little bit of light research on other podcasts to see where they have been a guest before. That number one just gets me to understand, okay, like what's their vibe like? Are they more laid back? Are they very energetic? Are they a talker? Or am I going to have to sort of pull teeth a little bit to get these stories out of them? Or is it going to be a lot easier? I can sit back and relax. So it just gives me a little bit just more comfort from my end before going into a conversation. And really that's about it. If a person has a book and we're talking about the book, I honestly don't even try to go and read it because I want to be in the same seat as somebody who is listening on the other end. That allows me to ask questions that my audience would ask too, most likely. And my favorite comment from a podcast listener is, Pat, I remember that interview. I had a question in my head and you asked that question for me. That means we are connected and I'm exactly doing my job. So that's what I would recommend to try and shoot for when you're interviewing somebody that you haven't interviewed before. Bruh. There was a question about my income streams that I saw come in. I don't know who asked it. I think it was Michael here. Yeah, here we go. Michael, how many income streams do you currently have? Like if you count individual products, including ones that I'm an affiliate for, I mean, it would be over 70 to 80 different things that have been producing income for me, right? And I can name a few of them off the top of my head. I mean, we got here in YouTube, we have AdSense on YouTube. We have the Super Chats now, which all the Super Chats come in and get donated to the San Diego Food Bank. So just keep that in mind. Number two, I have my online courses. I have about 5 of them right now. We're in development with more. Some of those are free too. I have 3 different books. Each of those books has a Kindle version, a physical book version, and an Audible version. Then we have all the things that I'm an affiliate for as well, plus the events that I run, the workshops that I run, the advertisers on the podcast, the sponsors who want to do a sponsored post or sponsored video. I mean, there are dozens and dozens, and it's just only happened after years and years of hard work and grinding away. It didn't start like that. In fact, my only income stream at the start was actually my number one first income stream. My first dollar made online ever was AdSense on my architecture website because I heard about this thing called AdSense. I was like, whoa, you could put code on your website and make money? That sounds unreal to me. So I put some AdSense on my website. Google automatically generated some ads based on the content of that site, which is about the lead exam, very niche in the architecture space. And I made $1.18 on that first day. And I was like, this is a game changer. Because it made me realize that I could do it. And that's the thing. Remember, shoot for one client, one result. Heck, shoot for $1. And it just unlocks a whole bunch of things in your brain. And that definitely helped push me forward. So yeah, that was huge. And then I remember then it was my lead exam ebook study guide was my next product. And then it was the audio version of that product. So that's 3 already. And then affiliate marketing on that same website, helping people pass an exam in the architecture space, but through the recommendation of a study quiz tool that was online from the Green Building Education Services website. So that was number 4. We're not even talking about smart passive income yet. So anyway, I could go on and on, but those are the different, those are a lot of things. SwitchPod. I totally forgot about the SwitchPod. SwitchPod for the win. Can you all see that? SwitchPod. It allows me to go from tripod mode to vlogger mode. I wonder if I can do this right now. Hey, we're in vlogger mode, and now I can just whip this out, put that down. Boom. All right, we got 1 minute left. I'm going to answer one more question, if there is one more question. Camel, want to train country artists live share content? Want to train country artists live share content. Anyway, I just saw that come in. Thank you for the super chat. Ellen as well. Ellen, if anyone would like someone to practice interviewing podcasts, just PM me. I'm extremely chatty. Cool. Thanks, Martin. Appreciate that. Here's the one from Camel that came in earlier. Want to train country artists live share content. So is that what you want to do? You want to train country artists live and share content. Yeah, go do it. I mean, there's nothing stopping you right now other than just you kind of wondering if this is going to work or not. So just go out there, try it, put it out there, and see what you can do to help. I would imagine that a lot of country artists are thinking about things that they could do to grow and scale and get their music out in the world right now. And if you can help one person do that, then that'll be a win, and that will be a great thing. So 2 things I'm going to do for you. Number 1, I want to play for you the first version, and no, Heather, there was no goal today, so I just wanted to make it about you guys today. So make sure to come in tomorrow, 8 a.m. Pacific, 11 a.m. Eastern. If you haven't gotten a chance to go to this website yet, smartpassiveincome.com/toolkit, a lot of free resources there. We've given away over $1.2 million worth of stuff, including books and my online course. I want to play for you the new song, but I'm going to play for you the first version that came in, and you'll notice a difference. And I want you to see if you've heard the first one and then you hear the second one. I want to see if you can tell what the difference is and why I asked for it to be redone, because it just didn't really fit for what I thought. So I'm gonna go to QuickTime here, and hopefully this plays. In fact, if you can let me know if this plays really quick as I'm going, I'm gonna give you the finger, not the finger. I'm gonna give you this finger when it plays because I'm using my computer audio. I'm hoping this goes through the Rodecaster Pro. So I'm gonna play this now. You let me know if you can hear it.
This is the income stream to help you achieve your dream, all while we keep it clean. This is the income stream. It's the kind of show where you can come and go, but then you leave inspired with no fee required. The income stream with Pat Flynn.
Did y'all hear that? Here, let me play the rest of it. Just feel like seeing. It sounds like a circus, right? Literally sounds like a circus. So, and we don't want the circus. We want like punk rock. So I went back and I was like, oh, I want it more punk rock. I'm gonna go into YouTube here because Camel said he asked a question. Less heavy on the guitar, yeah, for sure. Camel, if you can re-ask what it is that you asked, I don't want to leave without you. I see Just Samson. Yeah, I missed your previous question. Sounds like a circus. You need a top hat, yes. Anyway, Camel, if you have something that I missed, I apologize. If you would like to send me an email, pat@patflynn.com. Love to see what I can do to help you out because I feel bad for missing that. So, hey, have a great weekend, everybody. I appreciate you. Happy Easter. I'll see you here tomorrow. We're going to do some website reviews, and hopefully I can review your website too. But in the meantime, let's get to the actual song to close it off. Peace out. Thanks so much. Hook me up with a thumbs up before you leave, and hashtag Team Flynn for the win.
Bruh.
This is the income stream to help you achieve your dream, all while we keep it clean. This is the income stream. It's the kind of show where you can come and go, but then you leave inspired with no fee required. The income stream with Pat Flynn.